black man to your home. Something else is involved. You personally may be a saint walking this earth, an angel walking this earth, but at the back of the mind, the laws of the country, color, has knocked into your psyche. That thought that, look, this coolie coming to an elite area in Durban North, one Sunday morning, looking for your home, number 10 Downing Street, and, you know, with this funny headgear and this beard, looking for that number 10, and eventually he finds it. There are people watering the garden, there are people sitting on the verandas. What is this coolie doing around here? And then, maybe, you know, I find the house, I knock at the door, Mrs. Smith opens the door, and because she has enjoyed my hospitality, she's so happy. She says, come in, Mr. Deedat, come in. She means well. I go inside and we start chatting again, and religion is a deep subject, you know, you might carry on for hours, and tongues begin to wag. He says, what is that doing inside here? What are they doing? Running a shebeen or what? What is Mrs. Smith doing? What business is she in now? Or another relation of the family comes in, finds this black man there, brown man. So my host will have to go out of his way to explain my presence there. He said, you know, this is Mr. Deedat. You know, when we went to his house, his family, they received us so well, and they gave us such nice food and what not. Oh, you're going out of your way, actually, to justify my presence there. You know it. You have to justify, what is this guy doing here in the house? So, to avoid all that, best thing is, convey my regards to the missus, you know. This is what it is. Laws have a tendency to change the characters of people over a period of time. In Hitlerite Germany, a nation so civilized, so cultured, the nation of Goethe and Beethoven, one of the most cultured nations in Europe, they could stoop down to incinerating 6 million Jews. With a fact of fiction. The fact is, even 6 Jews. 6 million Jews, and this cultured nation, Christian nation, allowed it. As a people, 90 million Germans, they were Christians, even if Hitler was an atheist. They allowed this massacre to take place. Why? Programming, brainwashing. You know, the Jews, Christ killers, kill them. You know, they deserve it. So the whole nation, you know, if inwardly you might have felt uneasy, but it says, well, you know, they deserved it. They're getting it what's coming to them, you know, but they've earned. 90 million Germans, they were quite happy with what happened. Laws have a tendency to change the characters of people over a period of time. 1,000 years and 300 between Moses and Jesus, the Jews, these very laws which were meant to mold the character and rule, create a happy community, those laws perverted the standards. They were told an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So, if I was chasing the birds with that old-fashioned sling, you know, the one that David used to kill Goliath, I was only trying to chase the bird, and by accident injured a Jewish eye, another Jew injured his eye. So he goes to the judge and says, you see this guy here? He damaged my eye. The law demands an eye for an eye. Damage his. So suppose I was that unfortunate Jew of the time, I would plead as says, look man, brother, I didn't mean to damage your eye. It was an accident. Forgive me. He says, no, but the law says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I said, look, I'm prepared to compensate you. I'll give you a kid from the flock. I'll give you a heifer. Forgive me. He says, no, the law says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You see, he is going for the letter of the law and he is forgetting the spirit. So Jesus Christ, another spiritual physician among the Jews, he comes on the scene and he sees this perversion, this sickness, that they have gone for the letter of the law and they have forgotten the spirit. So wanting to bring them back to that wire media, the balanced road, he gives them another extreme as an antidote. It has been said by them of old time, Jesus said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil. He who strikes you on the right cheek, give the other. If a person takes away your coat, give me a blow also. Agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art with him on the way. If a person makes you to walk 1 mile, walk with him 2. In other words, go to the other extreme. This is an antidote for a sickness, which is a beautiful antidote for a sickness. But we Muslims, what we say is this, that that antidote will not work. Because you haven't got that sickness. Your sickness has changed. And as your sickness changes, the remedy must change. And in that change, we Muslims claim that Muhammad brought that last and final revelation of God Almighty. He has given us a law, and we say it is the fulfillment of the laws as given by Moses and Jesus. And Jesus Christ, he himself had foretold. In the Gospel of St. John, he says, I have yet many things to say unto you, to the Jews, many things. But ye cannot bear them now. In other words, you haven't got the capacity to grasp this knowledge. God has given it to him. He could have guided mankind for eternity till doomsday. But the people who were the recipients of that message were not fit to receive it, as he said. But ye, you, cannot bear them now. And the truth of that statement is writ large in the Bible. You read it again and again in the New Testament, in the Gospels. Jesus telling his disciples, ye of little faith. Ye of little faith. How many times? Again and again. He explains to them, as he was explaining to little children, and they can't grasp the message. So he says, are ye even yet without understanding? And when he's provoked further, he says, oh faithless and perverse generation. This is Iscariot's disciple. How long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? I say, if Jesus was a Japanese instead of a Jew, he would have committed honorable harakiri. You know the way they gave him trouble endlessly, the Polish father. You know, they gave him endless trouble. Everything he's telling them, they misunderstand. They misconstrue. Everything. So he says, I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak from himself, but what things shall he hear, that shall he speak. And he shall declare unto you the things that are to come. He shall glorify me. Now we Muslims, we say that that Spirit of truth is Muhammad. He glorified Jesus to an extent that the Christian, when he listens to what the Quran says about Jesus, he falls on his back. He can't believe his ears. He thinks that the Muslim is hypocritical. Because when the Muslim says that we Muslims, we believe in Jesus, so we believe that Jesus was one of the mightiest messengers of God. We believe that he was the Messiah. We believe that he was born miraculously without any male intervention. We believe that he gave life to the dead by God's permission, and he healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. The white Christian feels that we are trying to scratch his back, so he may scratch ours. You know, if I say a few good words about your Jesus, maybe you might say a few good words about my Muhammad. I said, look, maybe in the South African situation, you know, we might have a tendency to do that. Yeah, human, we are weak. And we Muslims in South Africa, our brothers here will confirm, we are a minority of a minority. The Indian is a minority. And in that minority, we are 1/5. We are a minority of a minority. We are very weak. In numbers, in everything, we are very weak. So as such now, if we flatter the whites, the Christians, to get some crumbs somewhere along the line, we could be excused. But I said no. Here is a book, what we call the Quran. In it,